Hi everyone, it's Joni here at Joni's Journals, and I've come along today for what might turn out to be a little bit of a long video. We are going to work on making a folio envelope for my Nettle's Nature Society journal, which I'm making for the Tracie Fox creative design team. If you've been following along, you'll know that there are a number of ID cards and expense folios and all sorts of things that are going to go with that journal. So let's get right into it. This is a little folio. I've created my mock-up so that I would know what I was doing and be able to present it to you. The folio is, because it fits in my journal that way, is 8 inches long, just about, and ultimately ends up to be about 5 inches high. Okay, so you can see I have my little directions here so that I know exactly what to tell you. I have used 3 12 by 12 sheets of paper. You can use whatever you want. You can make this whatever size you want, but I have a lot of Tim Holtz 12 by 12s, and they are the pages that I don't particularly care for. So that's what I've been using for this, because although I don't like the front, I do like the back. So what I did was I took one 12 by 12 and I cut it to 8 inches wide, because this is going to be the way your folio looks. So if you're using a patterned paper, you may want to make sure that your design is running in the proper direction. Put it face up like this, because this is going to be the front of my folio. This is going to be the back. And because I am going to glue it to the inside back of my journal cover here, my back isn't really going to show. But if yours is going to show and you have a problem with your design being upside down, then use a non-directional paper. That's the only advice I can give you. What I've also done is I have taken and cut 3 pieces, which are 4.5 high, because I want them to sit inside my pocket. Okay, and you can see that they don't really show. There's a 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch play. Maybe that's a better way of showing you. There's a 1/2 inch between the top of your pocket and the top of your folio. So I've made mine, because the folio is going to be 5 inches high, I've made mine 4.5 inches high by 11 inches wide. And what I also did was I took the scrap that was left over when I cut the larger sheet, and it's of course 4 inches high, and 4 inches high, and I've cut it down to be 8 inches long. So that is going to be the top flap of our folio. All right. So I wanted to do all the cutting before I came on to show you how to put this all together, because I figured it would take less time. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with our 8 by 11 sheet, and we are going to score it. See, I have it written down just so that I don't forget. We're going to take it and we're going to put the shorter side, which is the 8 inch side, up against the side of our scoreboard. And we're going to take our score tool and we are going to score at 5, 5 1/4, 5 1/2, 5 3/4, and 6 inches. I know it sounds like a lot, but you'll see once we get started with it. Okay, so we're going to score at 5. We're going to score at 5 1/4. We're going to score at 5 1/2. I don't really like this scoreboard much, but it's the only one that I have that's big enough. 5.5, 5 3/4, and then again at 6. Okay, so now you really probably can't see, but there are score marks. Then while we have it, we're going to take it and we're going to fold it on the 5-inch mark, and then we're going to fold it on the 6-inch mark. That's just so it'll stay steady. So see, you have the outer portion of your folio. Now I'm going to round the edges on mine. You don't have to, but I'm going to. I prefer rounded edges. So I'm going to round the edges on the front and also on the back, which is really not necessary, but I just do it anyhow. Let's get rid of the crumbs. Now we're going to take our pockets, this part here, and we're going to take the 3 sheets that are, what were they? Come on, people, keep me in line. 4.5 by 11. Now, if you want to make this smaller or larger, I add a total of 3 extra inches to the length of my pocket because I like nice deep folds. So you'll see what I mean. I'm going to fold this at a, see, that's why I dislike this board. I'm going to score it at a half. I'm going to score it at 1. And I'm going to score it again at 1.5. So you have 1.5 inches here that's going to get folded. I'm going to flip it around, and I'm going to score again at half, at 1, and at 1.5. So you have 1.5 inches here, 1.5 inches here. That makes a total of 3 inches for your folding. Now what you're going to do is you're going to fold it. The first flap you're going to fold back. The second flap you're going to fold forward, and the third flap you're going to fold backwards. And you're going to end up with a little accordion like that. Okay, we're going to do that again on the other side. It's backwards, forwards, and backwards. Now the reason you're going to do that is because this is going to be the front of your pocket. Okay, so let's do that again. I'm going to do it 2 more times. We're going to score at a half, score at 1, and score at 1.5. Flip it around, score at half, score at 1, and 1.5. Okay, and then we're going to fold back, forward, back. Okay, by the time we're done with this, you're going to know this by heart. We're going to fold back, forward, and back. And we have our second pocket. Okay, and we're going to take our third sheet, which is a different page, if you can see. I use 2 different sheets. There's a couple of sheets with flowers that I don't really care for the fronts of them, but I do like the back pattern. So see, we're scoring at half, at 1, and at 1.5 again. Okay, backwards, forwards, backwards. You can use a bone folder if you want. I'm not going to use mine because it's simple enough if you just press hard enough. Backwards, forwards, and backwards. So now we have our 3 pockets. But what we're going to do now is we are going to make our top flap. Okay, so this piece we are going to score. Let's see, where are we scoring? We are going to put the longer edge against the side of our scoreboard, and we are going to score at, whoops, we're not going to score anywhere until I find my score tool. We are going to score at 1 inch. This 1 inch space is going to be the back of your folio. Okay, you can see I didn't cut mine exactly and it's a little bit longer, but that's going to be the part that gets glued to the back of your folio. So we're going to score at 1 inch, 1 1/4 inch, 1 1/2 inch. Oops, my page is shifting. 1 1/2. Let's just make sure I'm doing these right. 1 1/2. Okay. 1 1/2, 1 3/4, and 2. Okay. And then we're gonna just give a little bend on the 1 inch side and a little bend on the 2 inch side. And this is the front of your folio. See? Now what I'm going to do is I am going to look at the back and see if I like this side better. Gee, I wonder if that would match. No. Okay. All right. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to round the corners on my front flap. I'm not doing any inking on this. I will probably ink after if I decide that I want to, and I probably will. Okay. Now let me just show you this part before I forget. These little closure circles here, what I did was I punched out 6 circles with using my 1 inch circle punch, and I glued 3 together, and I glued 3 together. So I've used up 6. I punched out a total of 8. These are the pieces that are going to go on the inside of your flap and on the inside of your pocket to cover that little grommet thing with the little legs that go out. That's name I can never remember. Okay, I just wanted to show you that before I forget and it comes to the end and I'm gluing them down and you're going, wait, she left out a step. What is she doing? Now this piece, I don't have it on this piece because I don't know what I did, but I lost the extra piece of paper. This piece is going to be, is optional. If you don't want it, you don't have to do it. But you can add a pocket to the front of your folio. So I may do it on this one. So this piece is, I forgot my measurements. 3 inches wide by 8 inches long, thereabouts. And I'm going to put that as a pocket on the front of my folio, but I'll do that last only because my demonstration piece, I'm trying to see which way my pattern runs. I'm assuming that that's the top. I'm going to round the corners. Yeah, I didn't do it on my demonstration folio or my sample folio, so I'll leave this till the end and we can decide what we're going to do there. Okay, let's get this big Mamaluca out of here so that we have room to work on our desk. And let's get to the next part. Now what we're going to do is we are going to create our pockets. And what I did on this one, I measured to put in little thumb holes, and all my little thumb holes came out lopsided. So what I think I might do is just take all 3 of these pieces, stack them together, and figure out where the center is, and punch a hole. Where did I put my one? And here it is. Okay. I'm stacking them, but what I was originally going to teach you to do was to take your paper, and you know that I'll do one that way since it might be easier for you to understand. or for me to demonstrate. You know that the end, your last flip, that's Roger, your last flip is at 8 inches. So you take your ruler and you measure the 8 inches and you make a mark at 4 inches. This may be easier for you to do. I may not end up ultimately doing it that way because I'm trying to get this done as quickly as possible. So you center your paper at 4. Then what I did was I took my 1.5 inch hole punch and I centered my mark that I made with the center front of my punch, and I pulled my paper down just a little less than halfway, and I gave a punch. Okay, and that's how I made my thumb hole. I may as well just use that one as the sample for the other two. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cuddle them all up nice together, and I'm going to find the edge of the other one. If you have any questions once I make this, that's not going to work. See, I was better off. And let's see if we can do just another one. Let's try to punch an extra one. Okay. The object here is just to get your, there we go, that worked. Let's do the other one. Okay. And I'll try to center it up there. Oop. Okay. All right. So now we have our 3 thumb holes, and they are even. Let's put that away. Now we begin to glue. And what you're going to do is you're going to glue each pocket to the other pocket, and you're going to do it one at a time. So you're going to put a little glue. I usually use too much. I like grab the glue that works. And put a little glue on the top flap of your folded part of the accordion, your top part of the accordion, I should say. Put a little glue, and then you're going to take one of your other pockets, and you're going to, I will show you, line up your edges. I'll pick this up and show you what I mean as soon as I get it glued. You're going to line up your outer edges of your folds and glue them together. Okay? Like that. See how you have the top fold lined up against the edge of the pocket, and you got the top fold lined up against the edge of the pocket. Now, you may want to tap them down a little, make sure they're even, but ultimately, it doesn't make a bit of difference in the functionality. It's just for looks. Okay, we're going to do that again. This is the outer flap of the accordion, and we're going to put glue all along the edge, and then on the other one, all along the edge. And my glue is going to quit on me. Okay, and then we are going to take our pocket. See how it is? It's the outer edge here. Okay, and we're going to glue it, and I hope I got my, yes, I thought I didn't glue my thumb holes. And you're going to line it up, and then line it up on the other side too. And you're going to work it up so that you have a smooth edge, okay, on each end of your pocket system. Okay, like that. There we go. So there are your pockets. Okay. Now what we're going to do with this portion is we are going to take our top flap and we are going to measure. This one we want to center. We want to make sure it's centered because it looks pretty. we're going to measure 4 inches in and get the center. And we're going to make a mark with our pencil. Okay, this is where we're going to poke our holes. And then we're going to turn it, and we're going to measure 1 inch up from the bottom at the center, and we're going to make a mark, and that's where our circle's going to be. I mean, where our hole is going to be punched. Okay? Then on our folio, I'm looking to see which is the front, we are going to do the same thing. We're going to measure 4 inches, which is the center, here. I'm hoping you can see what I'm doing. I'll pull it up a little. 4 inches. And we are going to go, let's see, I forgot where I was going. For the folio, we're going to go 4.5 inches. And we're going to go 2.5 inches down. Okay, so we're at our 4-inch mark, and now we're 2.5 inches down. So it's sort of in the center. Roger is groaning to go out. Bubba, come here. And then what I did was I took a pokey tool, only because I don't have enough, a hole punch that'll reach that far down. And I just poked a little hole in it and brought it up. It's enough of a hole to fit your little grommet thingy in. Okay, and here we'll do it on this one. And as you can see, I'm just leaning on my little paper pad here. So now we have our little holes punched. Then we're going to take our circles, and we're going to try to find the center, which I can never do. And I'm going to poke a hole in there like that. Okay, and try not to stab myself, and poke through to the other side. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on this one, and we're going to poke through here, wiggle it around a little so we get the hole kind of going, and poke through without stabbing ourselves, and there we go. Okay, so now we have that done. Then we're going to take and we're going to attach our circles to the front of our folio. I'm trying to find 2 that match. I got those. These are my little thingies that I can never remember the names of, where the little legs separate. As usual, you know that. Those of you that have been following along know I can never remember what they're called. So we're going to take that and we're going to insert it into the hole in our circle. It's not always easy. Oh, it looks, well, it's relatively centered. And then we're going to take it and we're going to insert it into our hole there. Okay. Now remember, I had 3 1-inch circles that I glued together. Now we're going to fold down the little legs. They don't have to be tight because you might want a little room, a little wiggle room, because we're going to add a string at the end so that we can keep it closed. So now you put glue on that extra little circle that you punched, and you cover up your grommet hole like that, and you just keep pushing it down. It'll eventually glue down the more you push it down, and it covers up that little pokey part so that no one gets stabbed. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing on the folio part. We're going to stick our little grommet thingy with leggies, because I don't know what it's called. If anybody knows what it's called, please let me know. I know other people use them, and I always say when I see them using it and they use the correct name for it, I'm going to write it down, and it never happens. Okay, so we're going to stick it through our folio like that. And then we're going to take our extra little circle and we are going to glue that down. Okay. Like that. And we're going to glue it down. Roger Dodger, come here. What are you doing, Bubba? What do you want? Come here and sit with me. Okay, so now we have that part done. Okay, come here. It's too hot out for you anyway. The feels like is 102, buddy. Go sit down. Okay, so now we have the closure on the front of our folio and a closure on the front of our flap. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to glue my flap to the top of my folio. And what you're going to want to do is securely bend down that 1-inch section, because you're going to push your folio up to that 1-inch score so that it sits flat on the folio. I always use an excessive amount of glue, forgive me. There we go. Now we're going to take this, and you see we have that little crease there. That was our score for 1 inch. And we're going to attach the back of our folio to it. Maybe if I bend it this way, it might make it easier for you to see. Okay? So see, we're going to line up the top back portion of our folio with that 1-inch line. Okay, mine is not completely straight, of course. So I'm going to just pull it up a little. There we go. Okay. All right. Oops. Sorry if I hit you. I've been doing so well so far. Okay. So now we have our folio and our top flap. And you can bend those other little scores if you like, just to make it look pretty, I guess, so it becomes kind of rounded. All right. Now we are going to glue in our pockets. And again, this is where it was important to fold up that 6-inch mark in the back, because we want to push our pockets up to that point. Okay. We're going to add glue on the back, the farthest back flap of our accordion. And we're going to do it on both sides. And then we're going to turn it over and we're going to line it up to the edge of the 8-inch part, push it up against our scored part like that. See, we're up at the score. See, there's our score. We want the bottoms of our pockets at that score line. And we're going to try and get these straight, because of course I didn't. And then we're going to push down so that it stays. Okay, make sure your sides are straight. Mine probably aren't, and they're not. Okay, there we go. All right, now they're a little bit straighter. Okay, and you kind of want it to pop like that, because that's where your pockets are going to be. So far, can you see what we've done? There we go. Now, you want to fold up the front flap of your folio to the bottom line of your pockets. So again, that would be your original 5-inch score line. Okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to run a line of glue down this side and a line of glue down this side like that. And then you're going to take your front of your folio and you're going to pull it up tight to the bottom like that. You don't really want any leaking out the bottom of your folio once you have it all together. Line up your sides with your accordion edge, and like we did before, push down so it's nice and tight. And I just realized that my fancy little pocket that I made isn't going to fit on the front. Okay, well, if you decided you wanted this and you weren't going to be gluing the back of your folio inside of something else, like I'm going to put mine inside the back of my journal like this. Okay, if you weren't going to do what I'm doing and you were just going to use it as a folio like this, I'll demonstrate on this one. You could very easily glue your pocket to the back of your folio, and then you have an extra little place to tuck stuff. I don't know if you watched my video the other day where I showed my entomology journal, and I had created one of these smaller to go along with the journal because of all of the excess goodies that are always in Tracie's kit. There was a little pocket on the back, but because I made my closure so far down on my envelope, I don't really have space for 3-inch pocket. I mean, if I wanted to, I could probably cut off a good inch and then have a little pocket on the front there. I don't know, I'll think about it. We might yet do that. So there you are. You have your basic folio. Now you can take some string. I use, I guess this could be considered embroidery floss because it can be split up. And I make a way too long of a piece. And I cut it off. You never know if you need extra when you're doing the folio. And whatever I have left over, I don't waste it. I will just use it as maybe string on the back of a little cluster on something. Who knows? It's Halloween, maybe I'll use it as a spider web. So then what you do is you take your string and you wrap it behind, I always do the top, wrap it behind the little pokey thing, behind your circle there. And I pull it, I give myself some extra room. It's just easier for me to tie this way. You wrap it around and then you tie it. Okay, tie it once, pull your knot all the way down, and then tie it again. I always try to do a box knot, I think it's called, where you tie, you go from one side over to the other side over or under or whatever, and you make it tight. And then just because I'm a little bit anal, I'll tie it on this side again, like that, and pull it tight. And then I'll do it one more time, like that. And I will cut off my excess right up to the circle, like that. And we have our folio. It will loop up underneath like that. And then you can tie it around. And there you go. And you can score all sorts of stuff in there. I used Christmas paper on this one because it was the first pad I grabbed and I didn't want to use my Tim Holtz for my demonstration one. What I'll probably do with this is maybe I'll give it away as a gift, or maybe I'll just keep Christmas cards in it. So yeah, you can make these for whatever you want. I just want to give kudos to the people that I've seen do this. A lot of the things that I learned here came from Margaret at Seven Plaza, Julie at Camellia Crafts, Artie Mays. I learned from her how to make these circle things, these circle closures ages ago. And more than likely, I probably learned how to make this whole flippy flappy closure thing from her, because you can close journals the same way. This could be a journal inside and not just a pocket. And of course, I want to give a shout out to Tracie Fox for all of the gorgeous papers that she's given us to work with. So yeah, that's it. I hope you liked the video, and I'm hoping when I get up and watch this back that you could have seen everything I did, because I've done that before. I've had to re-record because you can't see what I did. So anyway, have a great afternoon or evening or whatever rest of your day until I see you again, which might be tomorrow. More than likely, it'll probably be next week, because I'm back to school. And I want you to give a thumbs up, like, subscribe, please comment. Even though I'm working, I come home every day and I go through my comments and I say hi and say thank you and chat back and forth. But please subscribe. I'm up to 363 subscribers, which is amazing considering 2 months ago I had 32. So I love you guys. I'm giving you great big hugs, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.